tell us a little bit about the Luke Society, kind of the origins of it, and maybe what makes it unique among these other kind of international relief groups that we hear about.
Luke Society is over 50 years old. It's developed slowly, but more rapidly in the last few years. I think what's most unique about the Luke Society is we're a medical mission organization that doesn't send American missionaries. Our missionaries are local Christian physicians in developing countries that have a passion, a calling to serve the needs of their own people, to bring physical healing and share their faith.
And tell us a little bit about how that physical and spiritual healing comes to the poor. How does that unique impact aspect work together there to help spiritual and physical healing together?
Well, the doctors we work with are they're visionaries. They have a passion God has placed on their heart, a desire to serve the underserved in their own countries. So they're working in areas, in developing countries, in the areas where there isn't health care. There is, I think the unique thing is that there's an efficiency that occurs because it's a lot cheaper for us to come alongside locals than to send Americans overseas. So there's an efficiency in that, but there's an effectiveness, and that's probably more important. The doctors that we work with grew up in those countries. Many of them are first-generation Christians, so they came to know Christ often through other mission organizations, other mission outreaches. They came to know Christ often during their childhood or maybe during their education, their medical education, for example. And so in a Muslim country, our physicians often know the Quran. They know the culture and the people that they're treating. And they also are trained in country with the medical technology that's there, but also know the diseases that are most common in their country. So they're really equipped and efficient in being able to treat the diseases, but also when sharing their faith, they know the background of the people that they're sharing with, and they know what they're going through, and they know what the obstacles are to the gospel. So
some of those local doctors, what resources do you find that they need most often? Is it equipment? Is it medication? Is it expertise? What resources do they seem to need more often?
That's a really good question. That's probably one of the surprises that I had in the Luke Society. You come along thinking that we're going to bring so much over to them. The fact is that what they need more than anything, is they need encouragement. What I've run into is that these physicians that are called to the areas of need in their own country, they're going to an area where they can't make a good income, and often don't get much encouragement from their university. When they talk about going to a remote area, their professors will say, well, there's no advancement in your career doing that. Their families may say, there's going to be less income if you do that. So we're an organization that understands what a calling is, what the passion that they have in their heart. So just coming alongside and saying, we understand that. We'll come alongside you in that. And then the other thing is that they're going to an area where it's hard to make a living. It's one of the reasons physicians go into the cities and go into the areas, even in the developing countries. Going out to where the greatest need is, it's hard to make a living. And the Luke Society provides that seed, just the financial support that allows them to follow that call into the rural area. We'll bring some medical advice. We bring some administrative advice on how to develop a ministry. Those are the kind of things that we share with them.
Cool. That's helpful. Any other big surprises along the way in this ministry that you've discovered, or joys, or maybe some of those God sightings that we talked about with Lindsay?
Well, I started out, I'm proud to be an American. I grew up in a country that's really been blessed. We have a wonderful medical education system. And I went to medical school and residency and came out of that. My first experience going overseas, I thought, well, I'll bring this advanced medical knowledge. And what I really learned, I think probably one of the surprises is that these physicians that I've met I work with brilliant physicians that have a good education. They don't have the same technology we have, but I've been humbled because they, I was trained with the most common diseases here, and that's heart disease and cancer, and with the technology we have here. Well, when I go over to Africa, the top diseases are tropical diseases. They're infectious diseases. And I learned a little bit about them in medical school, but I didn't see malaria. I didn't see a lot of the parasitic diseases. I go over there, and they're experts on that. And they know it. They know how to diagnose it. They know how to treat it. So it isn't, I realize that there are wonderful resources, and the people we work with really, they just need some encouragement and some help in following that call.
So let's talk about prayer requests. What challenges are before the Luke Society right now? What can we be praying for specifically for the Luke Society in the days to come?
Well, one of the things that's unique, and it's one of the challenges with the Luke Society, is that we can't, our strategy can't be that we decide we're going to go to a country. I can't just say we're going to go to Nigeria and start a ministry there. We work with visionaries, and visionaries are not people that you can hire. They're people with a calling that God has placed on their heart. We can only be led to them. So this is a ministry that really depends on the Lord leading us to these visionaries. Now, I can tell you that they're all over the world. God is continuing to raise up people with a specific call to accomplish his plan of redemption. We look in the Bible, and it's full of examples of the heroes of the faith that you talked about, that God placed a specific call, a specific task, but that is still happening today. They're all over the world. We just need to be able to find them, and there are different ways. It's through medical conferences, through other mission organizations, through the internet, but I pray that we continue to have those contacts, because that's how the Luke Society grows. We're up to 43 partnerships around the world, so it is growing, but I need those contacts, and that only happens when the Lord leads us to those people. The other thing I think that I ask you to pray for is the persecution of the church worldwide. It's gotten more complicated. There's some more danger when I travel, but more for our partners. There's political persecution. There's extremists in countries like India. There's political persecution in Laos, in China. It's a difficult time, but it's also a time of great opportunity. So we'll pray that for the strength, for wisdom to work through those difficulties.